How's it going, YouTube? It's been a while since I made a video, but well, first I got very sick. I think I got food poisoning, and then I got very busy, and now I'm coming back again with a cold, so it slowed me down a bit, but you're going to see me eating a lot of Halls and drinking a lot of water in this video. It's been a while since I made a video, though, so I thought I'd at least throw together a quick sort of what I've sold for the first couple weeks of September on eBay. It's not everything, it's just some of the things I thought were a little more cool, or some of the better selling ones. And first one, obviously you guys can see, is Street Fighter the movie for Sega Saturn. It's a pretty neat game. Actually, it's not very good, but it took all the characters from the not very good Street Fighter movie and sort of put them into the game, so you're sort of playing as the characters themselves, as the actual people from the movie. As you can kind of see in the pictures there. If you guys are out shopping for stuff, anything Sega Saturn grab. Even Sega Saturn like sports games will still bring you $10 or so. This is the first one. I had a couple more selling. I have more listed, but they always bring good money. This one sold $42 free shipping. And then the next one we go on to, another Sega Saturn game, Alien Trilogy. Of course, if you can get them in the case like this, that makes a huge difference. Same with the label. Collectors like the label. These are a pain in the ass to ship because the cases are bigger than normal and they crack really easy. So really clean cases that aren't cracked like this one really help. This one, $72 game, to give you an idea what it sold for. Again, with free shipping, it probably ran me about $12 to ship, but still a really good profit. I got about 8 Sega Saturn games in a lot. 2 of them I needed, I didn't have in my collection. The rest were sort of extras or doubles. Sorry about that, guys. I had to get a drink of water. My throat is killing me. This cold could go away anytime now. So like I was saying, you want to watch out for any Sega Saturn game. It really doesn't matter what it is. Even sports games will sell. Like there's a $72 one. Another one that does really good on the Sega Saturn would be Doom is a good one. Dune as well is another good one. There's a couple role-playing games that were good. They didn't release a whole lot in North America for Sega Saturn, kind of making them a little more rare and collectible. But yeah, watch out for them. Like this one sold for $72, so I was pretty happy about that. Now this, it sold while I was running a sale. Obviously you can see that for $130. This actually came from a buddy. He was building a car for the Chaos Circuit, which is 4-cylinder and V6 front-wheel drive cars that drive around a circle track. It's pretty neat. There's Delaware Speedway near where I live, so that's where he races it. So I was just getting rid of a couple of things and parts for him. This is for a Honda Civic. They're polyurethane bushings. You guys probably won't come across this a lot in the wild. If you do, though, you know, it's worth picking up. You can do pretty good off car parts. Again, that sold $130 free shipping, and it sold with the discount. You know, I'll only get $60 out of that, but like I said, it was just for helping a buddy out, sell a couple things so he could have more money for his race car. Next, this I got at the weigh-in pay, and it was pretty cool. It's a 90s Wu-Tang hat. It's got like Old Dirty Bastard in some of the, you know, ODB in some of the cards. I think Method Man's in one of them. There's a few other pictures of some of the other guys under the Wu-Tang. It was a really cool hat, and I was at the weigh-in pay picking up auction stuff for Shop Goodwill. Oh, excuse me. And some of their eBay auctions, and was just kind of waiting for the girl to come out with my stuff, and saw this sitting in a bin that people had already picked through. They had just brought this bin out, and everyone attacked for it, and I just kind of sat back and watched, because I didn't really have any interest in the weigh-in pay going through the bins. I was just waiting for my auction stuff. But caught this out of the corner of my eye after they left. I listed it, put it on sale. It sold same day as soon as it went on sale. I actually accidentally put this on sale. It wasn't supposed to be included. This is why you don't do things late at night when you're really tired or sick, because you make mistakes. But, you know, either way, I was pennies into the thing from the weigh-in pay, so I'll take the 46 it sold for. Alright, sorry guys, I'm going to try and make it through this with a Hall in my mouth because it's just killing me to talk. But I'm going to get through this. So the next thing I sold is a vintage Duralex France 8-inch bowl. I had a bunch of these. Basically what happened, we were at an auction. I was bidding on a pitcher for the bar. It looked pretty cool. Didn't realize what I was bidding on. I got it for $4. Anyways, they asked if I wanted everything or half. They meant the whole trailer. We were at a barn auction. So I got like 700, 800 pieces of glass. This was about a year ago. there's still pieces selling. What I can tell you from selling all this glassware, for the most part, it moves super slow. It's also a pain in the ass to pack, and it's usually heavy. But some of the items I sold brought really, really good money. I mean, this alone paid for everything, and it's a year later. I had some salt and pepper shakers that were selling for $40, $50. A couple old mugs, a couple old vases and jugs and things like that. I don't know enough about glassware to tell you anything really about it or what to watch for. I know the Duralax made in France. I had a few pieces like that, and they've all sold. So maybe watch for that. Next item. If you don't know what HPI is, it's an RC car. These are parts for an RC car. There's HPI, Team Low C are some really good ones to watch out for. Actually, there's some of the top brands. But basically what happened, I bought a box of, I don't know, about 400 HPI and actually vintage Low C parts. 99% of them were bagged, and I got the whole thing for $25. And this isn't a very good example. This is actually one that sold for pretty cheap. But they've been selling consistently for about the last 8 months now. I had some pieces that were worth 70, 80. I had a frame that was worth 140. So anything HPI racing, anything Team Low C or Low C, pick up. And Low C spelled LOSI. If you don't believe me, go check a couple of these things out on eBay. They bring huge money. If you find the cars, even better. So, that sold. Cheap for shipping. I literally threw it in a padded envelope, sent it on its way. Still selling a lot of these vintage PC parts. I made a video a while back. You can check it out where I talk about the orb drives, the jazz drives, the zip drives, and the kind of things about that. I sold a few different orb drives and zip drives now. I still have 2 left of this one. And I actually had a couple other listings of the same one, just did it a little differently, just for more exposure. Took a bunch of pictures. It's pretty basic. Old PC stuff, and you'll see a little later on with a few other things, really, really, really sells. Just be prepared for returns, though. If you're going to get into electronics, especially computer parts, you're going to get returns. Just know that going into it. If you're willing to take the returns, then great. There's great money to be made into it. This was nothing. This cost me nothing. It was free to get. So it was all profit, and I've sold a bunch of them. Moving on. We have a HP Pavilion DV8000 laptop. Next, I have a HP Pavilion DV8000 laptop. It kind of works. How I came across this is I have a electronics recycling bin in the parking lot of the storage facility I run. So people put things in there all the time. One of the things thrown in there was this laptop. Now, when I turned it on, I couldn't get the screen to work, but everything fired up. So this has an external, I might have to go to the picture, an external monitor hookup, a VGA hookup. So I plugged it into a monitor, and of course it loaded right up into Windows XP. I have a Windows 7 disk, so I threw Windows 7 in it. It only had 500 megabytes of RAM, so I threw a 1 gig stick in it, just so it ran a little bit quicker. Threw Windows 7 on it. I explained, as you can see in the picture, how the screen would sometimes go like this, and it was due to a cable. I could have fixed it and made more money, but I didn't have the time. Again, it cost me nothing. It cost me 15 minutes to load Windows on it. I walked away. I let Windows do its thing. I just throw it up for auction because, you're picking them out of the e-waste bin. You're not 100% sure if they work, and if they do work, you don't know how well they work or how long they're going to work for. So I'll usually just throw them up on auction. I'll let them run and get what I can get for them. Again, nothing into this, so it was all profit. I don't know why it shows $12.95 shipping. It ended up going to the United States, not Canada, so it actually ran about $24 shipping. But yeah, he paid for it. He was happy to get it. Next, we have some vintage Marx Marvel comic figures. If you guys ever see any old silver, blue, green, red, yellow plastic figures and they say Louis Marx on the back, grab them. They're worth a lot of money. Make sure they say made in Canada, not made in the U.S., not Mexico. Made in the Mexico, I've heard a lot of those are reproductions from the 80s. Still will bring you some good money, but not as good as the originals. I had 2 of these. They both sold within 3 days of each other for full asking price, $32 a piece. And I was about $4 into each one of them. I got a whole lot of them. And basically, not of just Hulks, of other Marvel figures. Basically broke them up and have been selling them. I have a few left. I think a Thor and a couple others. But yeah, Louis Marx is what you want to look for. This one's from 67. He's a little dirty, but they sold quick, actually, which was nice. Next is obviously more computer parts. A Western Digital 320 gig hard drive sold for $32 free shipping. It was probably about $8 to ship that. I don't put those in a padded envelope, and you shouldn't put them in a padded envelope. Hard drives don't like to be knocked around. Bubble wrap them and put them in a nice box. Trust me on that one, especially if you don't want returns. Now, how I test hard drives is I bought a old external hard drive and I took it apart because the external hard drive has the same plugs as the SATA plugs on this hard drive. So when you take the external apart, an external hard drive, all it is, guys, is the same hard drive as in a computer. It's just put in a case. And the two wires at the very bottom there, which are called SATA wires and the power wires, are inside the case, and they just run into a USB, and all the information is transferred through a USB into your computer. Now, I took one of those out, like I said, of an external hard drive, and I was left with the USB plug and the two plugs that go into the bottom of the hard drive. That's how I test hard drives. It's really easy. I just see if the machine, if the computer picks them up, I'll wipe them and format them and transfer a few files between them just to make sure it works, and then I'll format it again, and then I'll list it. I will usually wait till I have 10-15 hard drives, and I'll just bang through them pretty quickly. If you have older hard drives with the IDA cables, there's no point in really even testing them. You probably shouldn't be selling them unless you have some older 1 gig, 500 megabyte. Yes, the smaller amount of size hard drives, because if you have, say, Windows 98, you can't usually use past, I've heard, a gig of hard drive. It doesn't recognize it, or 8 gigs. So the smaller ones are good for the people building the vintage computers. But if you find like a 120 gig and it's got the other plug, the big long tape looking plug, wow, the names just blew out of my mind. Don't get those ones. Stick to the SATA ones. They look like that right there, guys. Basically what you're seeing on the bottom with those little fingers coming out. Don't worry about that side. You don't need that to test it. So watch for that when you're grabbing hard drives. Alright. Now this is what I mean about vintage PC parts. This is a socket 478, which is for original Pentium 4s. Just the single core Pentium 4s. For the most part, there's not a lot of money in that. This is a very good motherboard. It was actually found in a generic tower that, again, was thrown in the electronics recycling bin. And I noticed it wasn't for that tower, so I pulled it out and I looked up the number, which is right there. I don't know if you guys can see it. It says PC4800 REV 2.0. Now you just type that in, Asus P4C 800, and you'll get exactly what you're looking for on eBay. Now I saw this, they were listed anywhere from about 75, what I had it up for, all the way up to 140. I wanted a quick sale, so I listed it for 75. It actually sold to a gentleman in the UK who paid another $38 to have it shipped to him via air post. So I was pretty surprised with that, but he loves it. He says it works. He's building a vintage machine to play Doom and Duke Nukem on, so that's pretty cool. And again, no money into this. It cost me nothing. It came out of the e-waste bin, and I got $75. Now, testing hard drives is a little bit different. Motherboards is a little bit different. When you test a motherboard, there's a little more involved. I still am going to make you guys a video on how I test all my electronics and motherboards. If you don't test it or you don't know how to test it, list it as is. Just say unable to test, list it as is. That's all you got to do. You won't break 75, but I bet you still pull $30-40 for this. And if you're getting them out of e-waste bins like me, it was free, right? So it's still kind of worth it to make that $30. Next came out of the giant book lot I've been doing. Now, this giant book lot was that storage unit. I made a video about it. I bought a storage unit with thousands of books, and this was one of them in there along with an old Bible. Now, this very old dictionary sold for $95, and he actually paid another $18 to have it shipped to the US. I have it open on ebay.ca, so it shows what it costs in Canada, which is normally free. I usually do free shipping in Canada. I'll eat about half the cost going to the US, and then international, it's by quote, and I look it up. So yeah, it's an Webster's International Dictionary. It's very cool. It's very, very old. It says up there 1890. And it was falling apart. I don't even think most people would have picked this thing up or looked at it. Honestly, I was about to throw it over my shoulder, but I figured it'd be worth it just to look it up in eBay real quick. And I'm glad I did. It sat for about a month before it sold, but it sold for the full asking price plus shipping to the US. I'm not sure what it's going to get used for, but a pretty cool find nonetheless. Alright, what do we got next here? An external SCSI CD-ROM reader and drive. Now this obviously, like it says, is an external one. It was sort of nameless. I just typed in the model number on it, got a few that were like it, saw what they're selling for. This sat for about 2 weeks before it sold. Again, this came out of the e-waste bin. This was working though. I do have a few of these and I do have the plug to test it. I always keep one of the plugs so I can test them. Don't sell all your plugs. If you have 2 units and 1 plug, maybe even keep the plug, sell them as is, but test it working or something. Because it'll come in handy again having a few of these plugs. The same goes for consoles. I have a couple Xbox 360, Nintendo, Super Nintendo, things like that. Power cords and video cords kicking around. Just for when you buy a console without cords or you need to test one so you're not without them. But again, came out of the e-waste bin, so no cost to me, and sold for $22.50 with free shipping. It did go to Canada, so I made about $12 off it because it went out to BC, so the shipping was a little more than I thought it was going to be. Again, don't pass up these e-waste bins. It's sort of like picking through garbage. If you guys see them and they're out in the open and there's no trespassing signs and they're not locked, check them out. I mean, I have the advantage of I know the gentleman, and we dropped one in my parking lot, and he knows I go through it and pull things out. You can make friends with a guy that scraps e-waste. You will be amazed at the amount of original Nintendos, Super Nintendos, N64s, Ataris, Amigas, vintage Apple IIs get thrown in these e-waste bins from people who just don't know. They don't understand the value. They just want it out of their house, and they throw it in these e-waste bins. I love scooping it up. It's all just profit for me. Maybe a little bit of time for me to scrub it down and clean it a bit and take some pictures and list it. But I usually have to do that anyways if I'm paying money for it from the Goodwill or garage sale or anything like that. So we'll get on to the last one, guys. Thanks for watching and keeping with me, by the way. Sorry about my voice and my constant drinking and sniffing. This cold's just killing me. I just really wanted to get a video out for you guys. So let's get on to the last one. A Machino Dinky Toys. Now, if you guys see anything Dinky Toys, they're made in England. Pick them up. They're always worth something. This one has a broken trailer hitch end. Oh, that's a terrible picture. That's bad on my part. Has a broken trailer hitch end towards the back there. It's all chipped. The wheels are still on it. It is original, though. It's in okay condition for the year, I guess. And you can see on the bottom, they usually stamp Dinky Toys. They'll have a model number. Grab these things. They always go. This sold as soon as it went on sale. I have about another 10 or 12 different Dinky Toys that I've listed. And this is the first one to sell, so I'm hoping the rest sell. I've never had trouble selling them before. If you do come across them, watch out for them. Dinky Toys. Again, 25 bucks. It was free shipping, so it did go to Canada. So I made about 15. I think it went right into Ontario, so it was only $8 or $9 to ship. And yes, Canada has terrible shipping costs. I know this. The biggest competition for the U.S. isn't sourcing or anything like that. It's us trying to compete with their shipping prices because you guys can ship things way easier. Now, when I do free shipping, though, I do get a lot of Canadian sales because I know a lot of Canadians won't buy through the global shipping program because I was already looking at a few of these through the global shipping program. It would have cost me $18 US plus another $5 in import charges just to get this to Canada. So, and there was none being sold in Canada. So as soon as I listed this with free shipping, boom, it was sold, got shipped. I don't know, somewhere that was about 6 hours from my house. So that was pretty cool. I think, yeah, that's the last one, guys. Just a couple highlights and a few things I sold on eBay. If there's anything else you want to see or some other videos or you want to see some different sales or information, just let me know. You can leave a comment in the comment section below, or you can hit me up on Facebook or Instagram or Twitter or all that other social media stuff, or send me a private email. I try and answer everything. It might take me a couple days because I do get a little busy, but I will get to you. Thanks everyone for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. Hit the thumbs up if you liked it. Hit the thumbs down if you didn't. And if you like what you're watching and want to see more, hit the subscribe button. Have a great night, everyone. Bye.